right, guys, let's see what's going on. Stop ignoring the dark side of reality TV. What? It's all fake. It's not real, even though it's called reality TV. They plan some stuff just like streamers do. They plan things in
Most
order to
people
make things
understand that
more
reality
fun.
shows aren't exactly real, but to dismiss the shows and just say, oh, it's all scripted, it's all fake, that's not exactly true either. You see,
No. They set up these events. I'm gonna just browse, guys. No, but yeah, they set up the events and then make people react to those events or whatever, or they play some certain things in order to make things like what do you call it, more exciting, and they're just waiting for the reaction. Sometimes it really backfires on them,
and that reality
and
shows
yeah.
aren't exactly real. But to dismiss the shows and just say, oh, it's all scripted, it's all fake, that's not exactly true either. You see, these shows operate more like human science experiments than scripted entertainment. Producers aren't necessarily telling contestants what to do, what to say, and how to act, but going through a series of calculated behind-the-scenes steps to control the environment and nearly guarantee chaos on camera. Unfortunately, because these tactics are designed to push people past their breaking point, there have been countless cases where contestants' lives were tragically cut short with
Of Love Island host Sparks demands for tougher UK media rules. Wait, what? I mean, there was a hold on, let me reconnect everything. There was a reality Korean show where this wrestler got attacked online like crazy, and she also did that thing as well because she was just getting bombarded, all because like she got mad at someone because they ruined her like wrestling outfit. She was a wrestler, and it was like a really big deal for her because they're very expensive, right, to make and all that kind of stuff. And so they made her into a bad guy, even though she wasn't. It was the other guy. He was kind of an asshole, but yeah.
many pointing to the mental and emotional toll these shows have had on them. Today we are going to uncover the step-by-step process reality shows use to psychologically manipulate their contestants into getting the entertainment that they want, and all the ways it has gone horribly wrong. It all starts with the people they cast in the first place, whose personality profiles will naturally clash, ensuring fights and maximizing drama. Even though reality shows can have vastly different premises, most of them follow a similar structure. Bring a group of strangers together, isolate them from the outside world, and then put them through some kind of challenge with real stakes on the line. And whether the final prize is money or love, the production process for maximizing the entertainment value of these shows is mostly the same, and a lot of it relies on morally unethical behavior. Before the cameras turn on, reality shows have an extremely calculated casting process. The first step for getting on many reality shows is a lengthy application, and we're not talking a job application. Shows like Big Brother require IQ and psychological evaluations to ensure contestants will be able to perform under pressure. Survivor is similar, where production goes through 25,000 initial applicants, complete with background and psychological screenings before they're even considered for a callback. One of the reasons why this process takes so long is because producers aren't just looking for good contestants, they're looking for specific characters. Every person on the show has to fit a very specific role. You might have the hero, the villain, the underdog, the heartbreaker, the loudmouth, the wild card. It's like casting for a movie, except the script hasn't been written yet. And usually the most successful shows are when everyone plays their role perfectly. Like in Jersey Shore, Ronnie was the hothead who wanted to start fights. Jenny was the female hothead who wanted to start fights. Snooki was the lovable mess. Mike the Situation was the arrogant loudmouth. Vinny was the laid-back, lovable nice guy. Pauly D was the uplifting wingman. You knew exactly what you were going to get from each character, which made the show.
You guys remember the time when Jersey Shore was like the big show everywhere at school and all that? People were watching it like crazy. I didn't watch all of it, but even I watched that show. But it wasn't like crazy amount. But yeah, even I watched it because I remember I remember one episode where like they went to like France or something like that, and then her boyfriend broke up with her at France, and because she was like lap dance. she gave a lap dance to somebody. I forgot who it was.
Easier to produce, made the stories easier to write, and fans could easily understand and develop parasocial relationships with the cast. However, during the casting process, what producers are truly looking for are people that exhibit characteristics known as the dark triad. The term dark triad refers to a trio of negative personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Put more simply, they're looking for those who are entitled, lack empathy, and manipulate others. Why? Well, these are the people that create the best drama. A perfect example is Russell Hantz from Survivor. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Fume. Flavored air is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking, and today's sponsor, Fume, is leading the charge. Have you ever caught yourself?
So no more vaping, because if you got vaping is still bad for you, so they're going with Fume now?
Reaching for a bad habit without even thinking about it? Maybe it's out of stress, boredom, or just wanting to fit in? Well, that's where Fume comes in. It's not about quitting, it's about replacing. Fume offers a simple and enjoyable way to break away from bad habits while still having something satisfying to reach for. Fume is a flavored air device that delivers great flavor without any harmful chemicals. Instead of vapor, you just breathe in natural, non-toxic flavors that satisfy the craving. Fume's premium wooden design feels great in your hand, and its magnetic top makes for a great fidget toy. The crisp mint flavor is great. It's refreshing and keeps you feeling sharp throughout the day. But they offer tons of flavors, so there's something for everyone.
Here's the difference between a plain box
and
a box sealed with Sticker Mill's custom packaging tape. Both.
Over 500,000 people have already made the switch to Fume as a part of their habit change journey. If you're ready to try it for yourself, now's the time. For a limited time, if you order the Journey Pack using my code Patrickcc, you'll get a free Fume top CC or scan the QR. Russell became legendary for burning other contestants' socks, sabotaging food supplies, and lying straight to people's face. He wasn't just playing the game, he was thriving on manipulation and control, and fans love to hate him for it. Some contestants wear these dark triad traits like a badge of honor. Tiffany New York Pollard is one of the most iconic reality stars in history who was unapologetic about stirring up drama on VH1's Flavor of Love.
Not you. You can choke. This was the first interaction I really had with Rain, so I wanted to see her her anger level. I wanted to see if I was powerful enough to twist her mind. It was a mind thing. She got mind screwed by me, and it worked. My advice to the other ladies in the house would be...
It's crazy. They're fighting for Flavor Flav, bro. Flavor Flav.
Beware of me. Because I'm not backing down.
Or take Stephen Bear from X on the Beach. He built a persona around seduction, betrayal, and exploiting his relationships for entertainment, but it turns out this was no persona. This was actually who he was in real life. Bear was convicted and jailed for revenge prawn after leaking explicit footage of an ex-partner online. He was sentenced to 21 months in prison. Psychologist Pamela B. Rutledge says that the perfect reality TV star and the perfect scammer or con artist have many overlapping traits. Actors, con artists, and scammers all tend to exude energy and have excellent powers of persuasion. The best scammers can project something desirable and likable about themselves to increase perceptions of trust and appear to offer an opportunity with lots of upside while glossing over the risks. And to no surprise, there are literally countless people who were found guilty of financial crimes before or after appearing on reality TV. Jen Shah from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was running a telemarketing scam, targeting vulnerable, often elderly individuals. Shaw pleaded guilty and was later sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and ordered to pay $6.5 million in restitution. Teresa Giudice from The Real Housewives of New Jersey served 11 months in prison after committing multiple acts of financial fraud. Richard Hatch from Survivor was indicted for fraud and tax evasion. Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty of both evading taxes and conspiracy to defraud community banks out of more than $30 million to fund their lavish lifestyle. Julie and Todd were sentenced to 7 and 12 years in prison, but lucky
bro, how many people have like evaded their taxes, dude? Bro, it's like if you make a lot of money, they're gonna come after you, dude. That's just a given. Come on, like people that like are like in a smaller like money bracket. I'm not saying you shouldn't be paying your taxes, but they mostly will send you some stuff in mail or whatever. But honestly, if you're rich, you gotta pay your taxes, bro. You gotta do it.
For them, another reality star scammer had the power to personally pardon them. If you just Google reality star fraud, you'll get so many different examples that it actually looks like these producers are intentionally trying to cast scammers to be on their show. But show producers have been criticized for not doing enough due diligence to avoid platforming bad or immoral people. Since they go through a deep vetting process, they should know about any potential controversies. Bachelor contestants met with a private investigator who is, quote, trained to dig up any skeletons in the closet, partly to use for their storyline, but also to get ahead of any tabloid stories that could come to the surface if they were on the show. Had they ever been arrested? Had they ever sent nude photos to anyone? Had they ever made an X tape? Had they gotten a DUI? Recently, Love Island cast member Sierra Ortega was removed from season 7 after posts from years ago resurfaced showing her using a racial slur that was historically used to attack Asian people. Outrage erupted online, she was labeled a racist, and fans demanded that she be removed from the show. She announced that she left the show due to a personal situation and then issued an apology online.
I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't.
Sierra also noted in her apology that angry fans called ICE on her family, and she posted a slew of extremely hateful messages and threats she was receiving. To give you an idea of the magnitude of Love Island and this controversy, Sierra's apology video has over 20 million views. Now, some people were confused why this was being treated as a new news story, considering she had publicly addressed and apologized for the use of this slur before she was ever.
Oh, then why the fuck people are like losing their shit? How old was that? Like, again, I'm not excusing the slurs and all that kind of stuff, but bro, if it was like 10 plus years, 5 plus years, or whatever, it's not fine, but I think people should be allowed to move on and grow from that, you know? Am I wrong for saying that? Like bro, holy shit. Like,
on Love Island, and that raised some conspiracies. Some suggest that producers knew about this controversy before the masses did and actively ignored it. Because if you think about it, Love Island only benefits from Sierra's backlash, as her name is directly tied to the Netflix series. I think it's safe to assume that when it comes to a reality TV show, all publicity is good publicity, right? When Love is Blind faced similar backlash for allegedly platforming bad people, creator Chris Colin defended their vetting process. We have background checks and psychological evaluations. Everyone in the world has a story, and we aren't the police. These shows don't take accountability for the actions of their contestants because, well, realistically, they aren't to blame, but also because they aren't exactly looking for the most morally righteous individuals in the first place.
Because that's boring TV. Like, let's be honest. This is why, like, when streamers do crazy shit, content creators say crazy shit, do crazy shit, the reason why they get the most attention in our world of like creating whatever is because it's exciting. It's not fun per se, but for people who are watching, it's fun for them. It's not boring. It's not simple like drawing artwork like I'm doing right now. It's not simple RL streaming. It's not simple like that. It has to. That's why there's a lot of clickbaiters. What do you want to call them? Rage baiters, etc. Because they know they work, right? They know that I know this, what I'm going to say right now, it's going to get clickbait and it's going to push, they're going to post it everywhere, right? For example, what's the recent one I watched? There was like a clickbait that happened with Valkyrie. She said like, oh, when I grow old, I'm going to play video games when I get old. I'm going to do this, and that. I guess that was like take out of context. She even said, no, I literally said that I want kids, etc. But that was just me making a joke. And that's how it works. Like, again, sometimes they do it on purpose, sometimes they don't do it on purpose. But I'm not saying Valkyrie is like a crazy one or anything like that. I'm just saying like a lot of people know what will get clicked on and what will get the numbers pretty much. Because exciting is dumb. And
producers want a perfect mix of unpredictable, toxic, and genuine personalities, which when thrown in a room together for long enough are guaranteed to cause chaos and produce dramatic television. Then again, producers' psychological manipulation tactics can even have genuine people behave differently than they normally would. Sarah Hartshorn, who was cast on America's Next Top Model in 2007, described producers exuding a subtle tactic. Thousands upon thousands sent in audition tapes from all over the country, every single state. We had had
Yeah, I
casting
remember America's
scouts
Top
all
Model being
over
big.
looking for candidates, and you guys are the ones who made it. You're here, and it's not just your looks. You all know that being a top model is more than that. It's who you are, and one of you is America's Next Top Model. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. By framing the contestants as chosen and exceptional, producers create a heightened sense of purpose and pressure. It deepens the emotional investment of the cast, making them more willing to endure extreme conditions or humiliation for the sake of not wasting their once-in-a-lifetime shot. It also shifts the power dynamic in favor of the producers. Contestants are no longer just people, they're characters in the producer's story that they feel obligated to live up to. And before ever stepping onto the set, contestants are almost always required to sign strict contracts, often including detailed non-disclosure agreements. Now, it's easy to understand why NDAs are somewhat necessary to
If you have bad credit or little money, what if I told you you can get a camera
call
and
me out?
computer today? That's right.
prevent the show's ending from being spoiled by bitter contestants, as the episodes were filmed months in advance, but fans have to wait week after week to find out what happens. What they don't realize is sometimes these contracts come with threats. Sarah Hartstone recalls
Really?
America's Next Top Model producers threatening to sue contestants for $5 million if they leaked any information about the show. The contestants were shook. They thought, we don't have $5 million. The producers replied, we know you don't. We know all about all of your financial information. None of you have $5 million. None of your families have $5 million either. But the NDAs can go even further. They can prohibit contestants from publicly discussing production conditions, mental health struggles during filming, and any manipulative tactics producers use behind the scenes. Take this viral Reddit post from a former reality show contestant, for example. The producers made me go through hell for 4 months. I lost my house, my car, my business, my boyfriend. I was very naive, and they exploited me to the point of a mental breakdown. They used contracts to hold me hostage in a sense, gaslit me every day. I can't even bring myself to discuss what they did, as it's so upsetting to think of, as they used me and I feel so stupid. I'm now living with my parents at 40, too afraid to date or work again, and have overwhelming shame. Now sure, this could just be a random person on the internet making this whole thing up, but this anonymous recount sounds exactly like the countless personal stories I will share throughout this video. So now that producers have acquired a perfect cast of clashing personalities, instilled all of them with a slight god complex, and prevented them from revealing any information about their experience, the next thing to do is manipulate their surroundings, restricting their diet, and implementing borderline torturous tactics to manufacture chaos. And it all starts with 24/7 surveillance. As soon as you wake up in the morning, your mic is put on. When you go to bed, it's taken off. On The Bachelor, contestants sign contracts in which they must agree to be filmed up to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But this may also be by means of hidden cameras and microphones, according to the contract, meaning they're likely going to be caught at some point in a less than positive light. They should have no expectation of privacy. This may seem like an obvious necessity for reality TV to function. After all, the only way they can capture reality is by making sure literally everything is being filmed and recorded. Right? Sometimes you see a contestant rip off their microphone and storm off to essentially protest being recorded, but the cameras just follow them anyways, and the audience is excited for more drama. It's a harsh reminder that they literally can never escape. On The Bachelor, constant filming is actually sold as a good part of the experience. Contestants open up about things like anxiety, grief, or past trauma, all while the cameras are rolling 24/7, turning their real pain into a part of the show. The audience is made to believe that all this surveillance is necessary to show someone's journey, because towards the end of the show, there is literally a highlight reel of all of their pain being broadcast to millions of people. And the craziest part is, the contestants have no control of how that pain is edited, manufactured, and presented to the world. Surveillance is done by the producer.
I mean, it is possible when they edit to tell a different story than what the actual story was. I mean, we've seen that happen before. I think even Mr. Beast admitted that he does certain different editing things that happens at different times in order to make the story more exciting, more fun, than it actually was. You know what I mean? So I can see that happening, right? You could totally they make a brand new story of all the clips it got. It's kind of like when somebody makes a song of getting everybody's different kind of voice, and they cut it up. I mean, before AI, they cut it up and they made it into a brand new song, whatever. It's kind of like that.
to maintain complete control over their participants. And this anonymous Love Island contestant described the extreme lengths producers would go to.
When you're there, you don't realise how much you are controlled by them. If you talk too much about life outside of the island, the voice of God, which is like a big speaker, will tell you to shut up. So it's like, this doesn't make good telly. Most of your day is just filled with gossiping about situations inside the villa, because that's all you're allowed to talk about.
Another former Love Island contestant described what producers will do to provoke a situation.
They set up the environment to test you because they know exactly what you don't like, they know exactly what you're scared of, they know what you're attracted to, what you're not attracted to, they know your triggers. So it's very easy for them to manipulate your environment and situations to get the best reaction out of you. And especially when the storyline is not going the way that they want, they know exactly how to fix that because they know you very well. You're literally just a little rat in their experiment, and they're trying to see what they can change and what they can do to see how you're going to react and how far they can push you.
Now, beyond surveillance, one of the foundational elements of a successful reality show is keeping the contestants in pure isolation. In Big Brother, contestants are confined to a house with no access to phones, internet, television, or contact with family and friends. This isolation forces them to rely on their relationships within the house, making every alliance, betrayal, and argument feel more intense. Former Bachelor contestant Leslie Hughes said, "We have nothing. We are completely cut off from the world. We have to talk to each other. We have nothing else to do." Similarly, Love Island isolates contestants in a luxurious villa where they have no communication with the outside world. There are no distractions, and they essentially create this artificial bubble where everything on set becomes the only thing that matters to them.
We didn't have any autonomy at all.
Bro, Live Island, man, isn't it like the biggest like reality show in our current time? Even I know about it, dude. I saw this one clip of Live Island. It was from like, it was not from the US. It was from a different place. It was like this guy watching this girl having sex with another guy, and he went nuts and crazy. I don't know if it's real or not, because reality TV. But then like in the same video, I guess it was an edit thing. They flipped it around. It was the girl watching the guy having sex with another girl. It's like, bro, this is just toxic. Why people want to watch this, dude?
Not only did they take our phones, they took our wallets, they took our IDs, they took our passports, all in the same instance, without telling us ahead of time this was going to happen.
And we were filming 18 to 20 hours a day. The only time we weren't being filmed was when the union crews swapped out for a new crew because they had met their maximum for the day.
You never see daylight unless you're allowed to use the bathroom, which is a trailer outside. They keep you in the state where you really have no idea how much time has transpired. It's one of those things where, looking back on it, if someone told me it was a month, I might have believed them.
So what else can they do to cure their boredom? Well, have you ever noticed just how much alcohol is being consumed on reality TV shows? It feels like most of the explosive moments or juicy drama erupts after a night of heavy drinking. Nick Bateman from Big Brother said, "Alcohol was given to us when we were feeling down or depressed or nothing was going on, because obviously alcohol is the Molotov cocktail producers use to liven things up." Bateman says drinks were coveted by contestants because it would quell the boredom of being captive in the house. Bronwyn Wyndham Burke from The Real Housewives of Orange County says that producers took it a step further. Whenever you're filming, they have alcohol there. They ask you before you go on a trip, what kind do you like? They get to know what your favorites are. And while producers don't force you to drink, alcoholic beverages were readily available, and that sometimes during scenes, cast members were discouraged from eating. Jeremy Hartwell, who was a Love is Blind contestant, sued the company alleging that he could not access food and water, but alcohol was available and even encouraged on an empty stomach. Now, it's one thing to give a bunch of partiers some alcohol, but putting restrictions on their diet is just borderline evil, and there's a lot of evidence that supports this tactic.
Because I started drinking this year. Well, I don't drink anymore. It was just an experiment for the stream, and I didn't like it. I hated it. But I do remember, I have zero tolerance for alcohol at all. I do remember when a day where I didn't even eat anything, I drank alcohol, I felt really weird. Right? I felt extremely weird. And that's just like one bottle, can. So imagine them drinking like alcohol like on a regular with no food or anything like that. Damn, dude.
On The Bachelor, contestants are not allowed to eat any food during their dates because the microphones pick up the unpleasant sounds. No one looks good eating, and microphones pick up all kinds of chomping. Now this seems like a justifiable reason, and even though it sounds messed up, in shows like Survivor or Alone, contestants aren't fed enough to somewhat mimic the simulated reality of surviving in the wild. But one could also theorize that low blood sugar could prompt emotional reactions, pushing contestants towards emotional or medical breakdowns. In Mr. Beast games, contestants complained about their food rations. One meal reportedly included a tiny portion of cold oatmeal, one hard-boiled egg, and a few pieces of raw vegetables. They also described going long stretches without being fed by the production. There were times when the production staff gave out small feastable chocolate bars and filmed some people eating and praising the candy. Contestants with food allergies and dietary restrictions struggled more than others. Before the competition, people filled out forms detailing their dietary needs. An FAQ document was provided to contestants in advance of the event and said that all dietary and food restrictions would be taken into consideration. However, several contestants claimed to be served food they were allergic to and that alternatives hadn't been provided. "We were treated horribly," a contestant said. "They took on this challenge of 2,000 competitors. They should have known they needed an enormous crew to handle this correctly." So now that producers have trapped and isolated borderline toxic people who are malnourished and pumped with alcohol, at the very least, a good night's sleep would be their last chance to recalibrate. Well, they don't get that either, because sleep deprivation is one of the most messed up but crucial parts of the reality show entertainment formula.
With Villa Light, there's no clocks. What they was doing was like keeping you up really late, waking you up early, so then you're gonna react more because you like basically got sleep deprivation.
Most competition reality shows follow a similar daily routine. Wake up early in the morning, typically around 7 a.m. Then they go do their competitions or tasks for the day. Then in the evenings, they talk strategy or socialize with another while getting drunk. Now you have to keep in mind that producers' top priority is to get 45 minutes of watchable television each day. They can count on roughly half of the airtime coming from the actual competitions or tasks, but the other half needs to be the all-too-sweet drama that everyone craves. And if the day is coming to an end and they don't think they have enough, they will keep the contestants awake. For 3 years, Sarah Shapiro worked as a producer on the reality show The Bachelor. Her task, as she recalls it, was to get the contestants to open up and to give them terrible advice and to deprive them of sleep. She sees it now as complicated manipulation through friendship. In Jeremy Hartwell's lawsuit against Love is Blind, he said that they implemented what was called night dating. "We didn't have clocks or anything, so it's hard to know exactly when it happened, but typically the night dates would last until about 2 a.m. He estimates that between getting back to his hotel room at 3 a.m. and being expected in the lobby at 7:15 a.m., he got 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. On the challenge, cast members have reported being kept up until 3 or 4 a.m. and then forced into physically demanding tasks just a few hours later. On Love Island, lights in the villa stay on until producers decide it's time for bed, and contestants are often woken up abruptly for surprise challenges. The lights are on the entire time during Big Brother taping, even when the contestants are asleep. Interestingly enough, this is the same tactic that is used by the toughest maximum security prison in El Salvador. Privacy and sleeping with the lights off is considered a privilege.
The modules are kept lit all day and night for monitoring. When the sun goes down, the lights stay on all the time.
They are constantly being observed. I think this is one of the hardest things. When they try to sleep, they use their towels and cover their eyes to block the light.
And if all this manipulation, control, pushing contestants to their breaking point still isn't enough to make a good show, producers have one final weapon. They'll rewrite reality itself through a process known as frankenbiting. Frankenbiting is the editing technique reality TV producers use to reshape a contestant's words and actions into whatever storyline they want, even if it's not what actually happened. Editors take small clips of dialogue, sometimes even single words or reactions, and stitch them together to create entirely new sentences or emotional responses that never happened in real life. Now, a lot of the time, this seems to be completely innocuous. Like this clip from The Bachelor. The girl who says, "shut up," is spliced into the edit to make it look like she interrupted Corinne.
I know that I may not be everyone's favorite person.
Shut up.
And I feel like there's like things going on behind my back or comments or whispers, and
In that moment in real life, when Corinne was talking, Jamie did not interrupt her and say shut up. That was taken from an entirely different moment out of context. And then the women who are shown laughing after Jamie says shut up was also clearly taken out of context. This happens so often in reality TV, and it's extremely clunky to watch. It often makes me wonder how people get so invested when you can see that things are manipulated even for the smallest reasons. However, sometimes situations are chopped up so much and narratives are so distorted that it's shameful producers got away with it. On season 1 of Joe Millionaire in 2003, Sarah Kozer was being portrayed as the bad girl. Producers set up a scene where Sarah and Evan go for a walk into the dark yard where the cameras cannot capture them. They took audio from Sarah getting a back massage from another female castmate hours before and then put it over a vague panning shot of the backyard and made it seem like she was giving Evan top in the woods.
They made it look like she gave him head in the woods.
But even when Sarah tried to go to the press after the show was over and convince everyone that the whole scene was taken out of context, people around the world were not convinced.
Well, yeah, let me take a couple of calls. All right, let's go to Randy. Randy, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, how are you?
Yeah.
Sarah, let me tell you something. You're making up this whole story about you were set up. You were in love with that guy. You were all over him. You went into the woods. We all heard the slurpy noise.
Right, you know what? I hate to break it to you. I just want you to entertain the possibility that perchance not everything you see on television is exactly
You didn't give him oral?
Well, let me tell you something. Hello? As soon as he didn't pick you and you heard he didn't have the money, you were devastated. You're nothing but a gold.
Wow, dude. This is the people of Twitter before Twitter, where people take everything literally and like get really offended for people on strangers on TV. That is insane, dude. Insane, bro. I don't know what to say to that, honestly. Like, I really don't, man. I really don't.
Digging white trash. Loser.
Although Sarah Kozer handled this scrutiny from the public with grace, others fell victim to the immense backlash. One of the darkest consequences of reality show editing is how quickly contestants become targets for obsessive, toxic fandoms, which has mostly been aimed towards people who have been labeled as villains on the show. And to some degree, you can't blame the fans. After all, they can only judge a contestant based on what they've seen on the show. But as we know, these shows are barely a reflection of who that person actually is. What makes it worse is these mass harassment campaigns often come from fans who believe they're acting on some kind of moral high ground. They'll flood a contestant's social media with hate, send death threats, and in some cases, dig up private information like...
This is why, like, I'll admit it, this is when I really got into the internet. I was kind of like that, but I realized sitting out there, it's like, bro, I don't have moral authority on anybody. I don't have, like, what do you call it? I feel like I'm a better person than these people. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't see things like that. You could criticize, but with these people, when somebody does something you don't agree with, people lose their shit. They're like, oh my god, why you did this? They're like, it's insane how like mental people get over some of a stranger just doing something or saying something that you don't agree with, and you lose your fucking shit. It is insane.
Addresses or family details. Olivia Atwood from Love Island UK opened up about receiving over 3,000 messages a day after her season aired, many of them telling her she didn't deserve to live. Another is Big Brother's Aaron Grease, who spoke about how viewers campaigned for her to lose her job after producers portrayed her as a manipulator through selective editing. But sometimes the harassment doesn't end with hateful comments. For some contestants, the public mauling and emotional toll have pushed them beyond their breaking point. A stat that absolutely blew my mind was that at least 40 people have died on their own volition after their appearances on reality TV. Hana Kimura, a female professional wrestler who was among the cast of the popular Japanese reality series Terrace House, died at age 22. She posted a goodbye message on social media after receiving a storm of hate online. Love Island had 2 contestants in back-to-back seasons suffer the same fate. Sophie Graydon, age 32 in 2018, and Mike Velastis, age 26 in 2019. The Bachelor had 2 women from the same exact season pass.
And they're still doing the shows? Bro.
Alexa McAllister, and Gia Allemand. What if I told you that the very first person who was ever voted off a reality show in history also suffered the same fate? Would that not be a slight indication of a broken system? In June 1997, Sinisa Savija became the first person in the world to ever be voted off a reality TV competition. The show was called Expedition Robinson. 4 weeks after he was voted off, he walked in front of a train. 9 weeks after that, the first episode of Expedition Robinson aired anyway. Before I started researching this video, I knew reality shows were pretty messed up, but I had no idea just how many tragic losses have been suffered from former contestants and the countless other attempts that have been made. And of course, this fate is never the result of just one thing. It's an incredibly complex and deep decision influenced by countless factors. But when reality shows follow the same formula again and again, calculated casting, 24/7 surveillance, isolating contestants, restricting their diet, flooding them with alcohol, depriving them of sleep, turning them essentially into controlled robots, and then putting all of their worst moments on display to millions of people, it's easy to see the inherent evil reality TV needs to have to create the entertainment. And with so many lives lost, it starts to make you wonder if this obviously broken system will ever change.
Nope. If it gets
comedians
if it continues making numbers and money, it will never stop. Just
most people understand that
it's the basis of that, pretty much. It's the basis of that, dude. Like, sadly, they put numbers and entertainment over everything. When it gets to like a very serious point, you know, like I say personally, when I say we're like, oh, people should only focus on entertainment and nothing else. Well, there's certain context to certain things, right? Especially like reality TV. I think there are points where you should stop the entertainment and really look out to the people who are making your show. Like, because again, you cause a lot of mental issues for them. But it's like, oh, but to sign up for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're signing up for a show, but not mental torture. Like, you know what I mean? I think everybody could agree to that. You know, it's very sad. It's a very sad thing, honestly. I don't really watch reality TV shows. I think I see some of them on clips on TikTok here and there because they just popped up. I no longer get them because they're no longer in my algorithm because I took them out. But yeah, man, it's like very, very bad, man. The sponsor firm is extremely toxic. They're going through several class toxin also recently. Oh, well, there you go. The sponsorship. Oh my god. I don't know if it's true or not, but wow. So we're all here explaining the video why foam is a red flag. Oh god. Okay, I guess there's more than one. Isn't it flavor air is inhalable essential oils, which is dubious as best, but they're not directly into your lungs. Oh. My brother used to edit for a reality TV show during the pandemic. I remember him working 14, 16 hours a day, being on a speakerphone with the producer screaming at him because he edited footage of the woman they wanted to make a villain and made her look too nice. The way I watched him literally dissect hours and hours of footage to Frankenstein together, something that barely resembles the original situation, was so insane. Wow. Wow. Yeah, 50% of foam, I guess. But yeah, man, it is insane, man. It is really insane how people are so addicted to reality TV shows and how they think what they see on reality TV shows, that's like their true nature. It's like weird, man. That's why even when I see a streamer, I'm like, I maybe criticize the streamer, but not as a person. I don't know them in person. They may be completely different outside stream. I don't know. Maybe they're playing a character. I don't know.